Morning. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, meanwhile, fired back at 3 top House Republicans. Chairman, his office writing in a letter, quote, "We urge you to refrain from the inflammatory accusations, withdraw your demand for information, and let the criminal justice process proceed without unlawful political interference." Underline political interference there. Congressman Jim Jordan, James Comer, and Brian Steil are demanding Bragg turn over documents related to the Trump investigation and testify before Congress. Joining me right now is the Kentucky Congressman himself, James Comer. He's the chairman of the Oversight Committee. Mr. Chairman, it's good to have you back. Thanks very much for being here. Bragg is firing back at you. What are you going to do? Are you willing to subpoena him to come talk to you under oath?
Well, this is of the utmost importance to the American people. I think most people in America are sick and tired of the government getting involved in our election process. We want free and fair elections. I don't think anyone believes that Donald Trump would be in Manhattan District Court right now were he not a candidate for president of the United States. So we have a lot of questions for the Manhattan District Attorney. He doesn't have the luxury whether or not to determine whether he can show up for congressional inquiry. I think we're going to use whatever means necessary because we're concerned about, again, election interference. We're also concerned about wasteful spending. We have a crime crisis in America. One of the reasons we have a crime crisis is because we have soft on crime district attorneys. And you look at the crime rate in New York, we feel like the DA's time would be better spent trying to prosecute criminals.
Well, I mean, what about this situation that you can do something about? I mean, Congressman, the truth is, you know, you've got a lot of commentary from yourself, from Jim Jordan, the chairman of the Judiciary, and a lot of other Republicans. Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, said this is election interference. But what can you do about it? You don't have a willing DOJ. Can you do anything to change this politicization underway?
Well, Maria, as you know, this is a trend. There is a two-tier system of justice in America. You showed the clip with Jim Jordan earlier talking about the differences in how Donald Trump's being treated for the apparent mishandling of classified documents versus Joe Biden. Donald Trump was cooperating with the National Archives, but yet they still raided him. Joe Biden, we don't know the true extent of what he's done. All we know is he has classified documents scattered all over the place dating back to his time as a U.S. Senator. There's one document in particular that I can tell you from my investigation of Biden family influence peddling, we're very concerned about with respect to a document that Hunter Biden sent to officials at Burisma in Ukraine. It was a government document. We're concerned that it may have been one of the classified documents, but yet no raid of Joe Biden's his different locations of classified documents, and nothing on the website for the National Archives about Joe Biden. If you just looked at the National Archives website, you would see they raided Donald Trump, but there's no mention of Joe Biden having 5 different locations. So this is a trend that continues. We're concerned about it. Maria, to answer your question, I think we're going to have to do something about the funding. We believe that tax dollars are being misspent. With the DOJ's continued weaponization, their continued efforts to go after conservatives. Again, we don't think that Donald Trump would be in Manhattan court today were it not for him being a leading contender for the presidency in 2024.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because I spoke with Ron Johnson. And as you know, Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, and Chuck Grassley had investigated the Biden family influence peddling even before you took it up. And Ron Johnson told me that the only bank that would give him bank records of Hunter Biden was Cathay Bank. You know, he called them a Chinese bank. We now understand that this is a Chinese-American bank. It was founded by Chinese Americans, and they serve the Chinese-American community. They say they have nothing to do with the CCP, but Ron Johnson seems to believe that that was one incident where you've got Xi Jinping saying, well, let me just release this, and there's more where that came from unless you do what we want. Talk to us about the bank records that you've been able to obtain and what you make of that story regarding Cathay Bank.
Yeah, well, that as you said, that is an Asian American owned bank. We're working with Cathay Bank to get more bank records. We're working with several banks right now. Stay tuned, Maria. We'll have more to report very soon. The bank records are coming in. I think something else that's very important to note, we're in communication with 4 former Biden family business associates, if you want to call it that. They're cooperating with our investigation. And I will tell you, it's very concerning. I think that everyone realizes that with our success in getting bank records, there's nothing to hide. There's nowhere to hide. They're going to have to explain what all these different LLCs were and why the banks had all those bank violations suggesting that they were laundering money from China through all these different LLCs. So I think that we're making significant progress. I know the American people that are keeping up with this wish that we were going faster, but I don't think anyone thought we would ever have bank records from multiple banks. I don't think anyone thought Treasury would ever let us have those bank violations. We have both now. And the records we have are leading to us getting more bank records from more banks. So this is a concerning trend. And again, Maria, I'll close with this. Why hasn't the Department of Justice done anything about the shenanigans that the Biden family's been doing with our adversaries, but yet Donald Trump's in court over a misdemeanor campaign finance violation? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. But real quick, are they doing influence peddling in plain sight? I mean, look at the art that is being displayed in New York this week. Yeah. Hunter Biden is being showcased with his art in New York in Soho next to some of the greats. Look at this art being showcased in New York. We don't know who's buying this art, Congressman. Do you?
No, we don't. And I think the most important question is who bought that first artwork? Now, like we've seen with the classified documents, the DOJ's given Biden's lawyers plenty of time to go in and clean up at these various different locations. Instead of raiding, they said, all right, on Monday, we're going to be there Thursday at 3 o'clock, so you got 3 days to clean up. They may have some legitimate buyers, who knows, for this newest art show. But what we're concerned about is that very first sale of art. We know that the George Burgess art gallery owner bragged about being the new link to the Chinese buyers of American art. So, there's some suspicion here. And the fact that the White House won't disclose who bought that art at those exuberant prices says a lot about who really bought the art.
Yeah, I was just looking at this art. It's unbelievable. $500,000 he's trying to sell this stuff for. Congressman, thank you. We're going to be watching your work. We appreciate your leadership on this. Congressman James Comer. Really interesting to look at the 2 ways that the law is applied in these 2 situations, Hunter and the Biden family versus Donald Trump. James Comer, thank you, sir.